Welcome YouTube. Today I'll be taking you how to install WordPress, and yeah, that's pretty much basically what we will be doing today. So, but I've already done the video on how to install a WAMP server, so you can watch that video before you watch this one. So let's get started. Here is the WordPress I'll be installing. Here I've already downloaded mine from WordPress. As of this recording, the WordPress version is 4.7.3. So I'll open my XAMPP folder. You might be using any of the servers. Yours might be WAMP, yours might be USB web server, yours might be JBoss, or whatever server you're running, or you have a customized one. So I'm just going to open this up, and then I'll go to my htdocs. Yours might be www folder, but mine here is htdocs. I'll open that, and I'll create a folder for this particular project. So every folder you create houses any of your project, be it Joomla, be it WordPress, it houses that. So I'm just going to call this WordPress, and I'll open up the folder. Then I'll double click on my downloaded WordPress. Then that helps me open it. So, but make sure you have a zip, you have WinRAR installed, so that you can use that to extract your WordPress. So I'll double click on this WordPress again and get all the content in the zip. So I'll press Ctrl and A on my keyboard, or Command and A on your Mac or whatever PC you're using, and I'll click drag to this folder, and I'll drop just to do the extraction. Or you can copy and then come down to this folder and then you paste. So that's that. Mine has finished extracting. So that's step one. Then the next thing you do is to go to your preferred web browser. I will be using Google Chrome. First you need to do is to create your database. So to do that, I'll make sure that I create my database. Make sure you have a server installed, and when I mean server, that means your Apache, MySQL, and PHP are up and running like I have it here. If you're using XAMPP, this is what you have. You make sure you start the service and it's running properly. If you're using USB web server, you're using WAMP, make sure it is up and running. Else it's going to you would not get this installation right properly. So I'll assume you've got that up. I'll go into my web browser and type localhost /php, my admin. You can see it right there. That is to help us manage our database and create the database. So while that is doing that, I'll come down to this menu that says databases, and I'll click on it. Here in the database name, I'll type the name of our database. You need to know that the name you give to your database should not, or cannot, may not be the name you give to this folder here where we extracted this folder here. We can decide to give it the another name. Say let's call it training. Let's call it training, and I click on create, and then we are done. So I open another tab, I type localhost /WordPress, this time around WordPress. So the name we're typing here, the localhost /WordPress, must be the name of the folder you created in your htdocs. So if my folder name changes to, say for example, I decide to change the WordPress to training, and I refresh this page, it's not going to work because it cannot find the name of the folder. So I'll have to change this back to training. And voila, we have it working. So make sure the folder you're calling is the name of the folder you created when you extracted your WordPress. So I'm going to change this back to YouTube. I'm going to change this back to YouTube, and you see same thing. So I have to change this to YouTube for it to work. So that's just for you guys to understand. So then the next thing we'll have to do is click on let's go here. Now it's asking us for all these credentials. Database name, remember that the database name we're going to put in here, it says the name of the database you want to use with WordPress. So, and that is the name of the database we created here called training under PHP My Admin. So I'm going to put my database name here as training. You right now you can see that our folder name says YouTube, but our database name says training. Whichever way you want it, you can give them the same name. So my database username is root, because this is a local installation of our server. You can join me in another video on how to install WordPress on a live server or using your C panel. So for my WAM server, it's given a default username of root, and my password, there's no password for my database, which is very, very bad. But this is just a training video. Some by default they come with a username of root and a password of root, and my database host is local host. Depending on the port you are running, you might have to add this 3307 or 3306. So let me show you why I'm adding that. If you take a look at this MySQL module, it's saying it's running on port 3306. So you might have multiple database server which are running on different ports, whichever way. But I'll just advise you can leave it as local host or just like this. Then your table prefix. The reason for this table prefix is if you're using just one database, just one table, just one database, and you decide that you want to have multiple projects on that same one, but by default it comes with WP, but you can decide to give it something else, say site. I'll show you where this prefix come in our PHP My Admin when we finish doing the installation. So I click on submit, and then I click on run the installation. If you don't get to this part, then you need to check what is wrong with all the credentials you put in. My site title will be the name of our site. Probably you want to call the name of your site Facebook, but make sure your site title is not your domain name. When I mean domain name, say for example you want to create a site called probably we're calling the name of our site YouTube. You should not put youtube.com. Rather, is the title, the name of your website will be put in here. So I'll be putting YouTube training. Sorry, YouTube training. You can see that. So I'm not putting youtubetraining.com. It's just YouTube training. That's my site title. Then the username I want to use for my WordPress. So I'll be using admin. But make sure you don't use this on a live installation. Make sure it's just for the training purpose. And then my password, I'm deciding to change it to admin also. Admin. So it asks me to confirm the use of weak password. Then my email, I'm just going to just put something random there. admin@test.com. So but you can put in your own personal email there, and then I click on install WordPress, and then we just wait for some couple of seconds, and we have everything all installed. So yeah, voila, we have it installed. So I'm just going to quickly show you something at the PHP My Admin. If I click on the training, we can see that our database has been populated, and this is where we had the database prefix that I changed to site. So I'll click, let me go back and I log in into my back end of the website. Or before I log into the back end, let me open another tab and do localhost /YouTube, the name of our project folder. And you can see we already have WordPress installed with the default template, and it's up. We now need to start customizing it to suit what we want to do. So I log in, and voila, we have that installed. So you can start customizing, adding template, adding plugins, and what have you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You can join me in another training to customize your WordPress and make it the way you want. We're looking at customizing the admin page here, and we're also looking at how to customize all of this to suit this. So here is where we have our site title that says YouTube training. Yeah, so it's totally different from our domain name, and this is where we have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Once more, please subscribe and share the video with other people. Thank you.